Whew. Today we're going to talk about crawl space work. If I look hot and sweaty, it's because I'm on our crawl space right now. As you can tell, specifically what we're going to talk about is encapsulation. So I'm under a ton of houses, and a lot of them are eaten up with termites. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes and then I will show you what products I'm using, but the underside of houses get eaten up with moisture and termites. I see it house after house after house. I look at a lot of them, and it's a constant problem. You have to manage the moisture. If you manage the moisture, the termites won't come in the first place. They could be treated for, but the moisture is what brings them in. So how do we rectify this? Typically it's through a process we call encapsulation, and there's no codes for this. It's kind of an industry term, but we're essentially sealing their crawl space from the elements. We are turning it into a conditioned space, and our goal is to make it like a clean room in the house, as clean as the living area. This does a few things. It protects the structure of the house, eliminates the moisture so there's no rot, no termites, like I said. It also improves the indoor air quality because eventually fungus grows. I think you could probably see it, all this stuff here. I've already sprayed this beam with some stain remover they sell just for that. It smells like bleach. It's a product called RMR 86, I think. It's pretty good stuff, but it needs another treatment, it looks like. So eventually the wood rot fungus sets in and like rot happens. This is not something that you want to breathe if you care about the quality of air for your family. Like the crawl space and the living space, like they communicate through air leakage, and there's no way to get them sealed from each other. So the best we could do is seal the crawl space from the outside. I want to go through all the products that I'm using here and kind of show you how I'm installing them, and then I'll talk a little bit about like why this is a good idea. Alright, so to continue, I got all this stuff from a company called Crawlspacerepair.com, and I think they're out of South Carolina. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. First time I've ever used them. But sometimes like I can see a product and I'm like, I just know that'll be good. But so you could see like I'm kind of it's an interim reel. I'm not finished with this space, but you can see this side. You can see the roll up there. This is black landscape fabric. I think they call it polyethylene. Comes in a 50-inch roll, so 48 inches of coverage with like an inch of overlap on both sides, and you just roll it up one side and down the other. And I use these 6-inch staples. I think I have a couple somewhere. Here they are. So it doesn't need a lot every 3 or 4 feet. There it is, just a standard landscape staple. And so they sell it as like this is a protection for the underside of the underlayment, the vapor barrier. Not the underlayment, the vapor barrier. So it's like a puncture. It's like puncture insurance. So we don't know what's in the dirt, nails, old staples, insulation hangers. Which I've raked this crawl space clean completely, and we took out a huge amount of trash and dirt. But I saw this and I'm like, I gotta have that. We gotta. I know this is the direction we need to go in. So I put this down, and then the way I did it on this one was I hung the wall plastic first, the wall vapor barrier, and what they specify for this is there's a double-sided tape behind this. And you put the tape on, and then you hang the plastic to the tape, and then you come back with these push pins, which I don't have any right this second. I wish I did, but it's about an inch long push pin. You just drill in. This is cinder block. So it's simple to drill, 1/4 inch, and it pushes right in. You tap it in with a hammer. So the tape, they say, like eventually will get, if you have any moisture in your cinder block, like the tape will eventually delaminate. So the mechanical fastener, you can see about every 16 inches, I think. So they're a mechanical fastener that hangs them. Let me get over to this other side here. So this particular house worked out as they sell 13-foot 4-inch rolls, and this particular house worked out pretty good for the layout. So I've got all the walls done. I do not have the columns done. And I have this side of the crawl space done over here. And I still have to tape everything off. But one thing, I don't mind the width of this. And they put a seam in it, but I'm not crazy about how the seams lay down. You can see it down in there. So not ideal. But it's a big time saver because this would be like at least this would be two. This would be 2 courses of the shorter. I think it's probably all the 6-foot width, and then they have some way to join them. It looks like a seam there. They might do that themselves. I don't know, but it's a big time saver. So you just pretty much, it comes folded. You roll it out, you unfold it, and then you cut it to your length. You kind of see how so the wall plastic comes down. I have it going under. I don't think that makes a difference. And then the floor plastic, I just have it laying on, and it's a little long. You don't want it. You don't want to have to tape a corner. They say it's much easier if you tape flat. So I got to cut this back a little bit. And then up at the other end, closer to the crawl door, we're going to have a Aprilaire 70-pint dehumidifier put in here. And this is going to dry the underside of this house out. It's going to get rid of the smell. It's going to eliminate any of this fungus growing on the framing lumber. And it's really going to preserve the value of this house. So as far as crawl space work goes, I hate it. Some of the crummiest work probably there is, but it's also probably some of the biggest return on investment work that you could do too. Like to preserve the underside of the house, the structure of the house, the foundation, the framing lumber, improve the indoor air quality. Like there's just nothing that compares to it. So it sucks, but like it's totally necessary. And I hate it because it's nasty, but I like it because of the transformation. So this is something that I wear. This is from Parcel Safety. I haven't had it long, but even in the humid Virginia summer, I'm sweating and it does not fog up, which is kind of amazing to me. So I think that's probably worth it. So continuing on with the crawl space discussion, you can see the lights. I added the lights. Most crawl spaces don't have any lighting. I added 4 here, and next time I'll add 6 because 4 is good, but I think it would have broke better if it was one more towards the end and then one more towards the other end and then one in the middle. I feel like that would have been a better solution, just more light. So if your crawl space is like this, well lit, clean, healthy, do you think you're more likely to get your utilities like HVAC well? Do you think you're more likely to get better service or worse service? I worked in crawl spaces a long time. If the crawl space is nice, you're going to get a more thorough service. So that's something to keep in mind overall in this discussion. So 70-pint Aprilaire dehumidifier, I'm going to run some duct out about 20 feet. So there's a little bit of differential in the intake and exhaust air. So it'll run down, it'll be 8-inch pipe. It'll run down the girder beam there. You may have seen a couple of my crawl space rants before, which aren't crazy rants, but there's no better way to describe them. So this is like This is like, where do we go from a terribly nasty crawl space? Well, this is the ultimate solution, encapsulation. So all these seams in here will be taped with like 4-inch white tape, and you can condition this space, like cut in a vent in your HVAC ductwork. That's good, but Aprilaire or a dehumidifier, Aprilaire is just like a professional grade dehumidifier. That's like ideal. You're actually taking moisture out and you're dumping it outside. So let's talk a second about material costs. Like, it wouldn't probably do a lot of good to talk about labor cost, even though I'm probably in line with a lot of people, but this is 1,150 square foot crawl space, like 1156 or so, pretty precisely. The underlayment, which would be the polyethylene fabric, landscape fabric, and the plastic, and the double-sided tape, and the big white tape, and some adhesive, was in the neighborhood of shipped of like $2,100. Now, you don't have to go absolutely to the end like I did, but like when you're doing it, you're already going to be spending $1,500, $1,800. Wouldn't you rather have a nicer solution and just spend a few hundred more? Really make it permanent and ultimate? That's usually my train of thought. So around $2,100, but I think I ordered too much plastic, and I think it's about, the small rolls maybe $250 a roll, so maybe closer to $2,000, because there were some incidentals like the staples and stuff. My cost for an Aprilaire dehumidifier is around $1,100. If you had to buy one, it'd probably be closer to like $1,400 or $1,500, I assume, something like that. It's going to have a couple $100 in incidentals, the ductwork, some wiring, a drain, some cinder blocks to sit on, so that should be taken into consideration. And for the labor, I could tell you how long it took me. So I would say probably a good day and a half to do the demo, which is tearing out all the horribly nasty insulation, raking it all clean. I removed some dirt around the entrance, the entryway, just so it was a little wider to get in. I probably have 2 days in all the underlayment, vapor barrier, hanging it on the walls, and then taping it back up. Something like that. And then I'll have another probably half day to set the dehumidifier. So that's like 2, 4. I mean, you're talking, that's like 4 days. I mean, I would probably bid this job for a week if I was doing it myself. Because you have to think, that was the work. You have to procure all the materials. That takes time. You have to haul off all the demo. That takes time. You have to clean up all the like incidental trash. That's not demo, like tape backing, scraps of vapor barrier. You have to haul all that off and dispose of it, so that takes time. Clean up takes time. So this would definitely, 1,200 square foot house is probably a week job. Now, if I had help, it would be less. So I'll wrap up there. Kind of my opinions about crawlspace encapsulation. I think it's the ultimate solution for crawl spaces. If you care about the quality of air that you're breathing, if you care about the longevity of the house, I really think you ought to consider crawlspace encapsulation. It's not cheap work, because it's kind of unpleasant work, but I think it's worth it. If you're new to the channel, I hope that you'll subscribe. And this is a normal video for me, like home repair type stuff. So my small home repair service is called Peninsula Handyman. And this is what kind of stuff that I'm doing on a daily basis, just rehabbing and fixing old houses. And if you have any interest in that, I think that you'll probably want to stick around. So I'll see you in the future for a different video.